I'm Ryan. I'm here with my brother Daniel, and this is Rolls in the Family. We are continuing our countdown of our top 50 games of all time. This is the second segment. If you missed the first one, we will link that in the card up above. We recommend
what are you doing here?
Yeah,
Start at the
you
beginning.
don't belong here.
Get out!
We give a little more intro and context there, but we also want to call out our contest that we are running with this countdown, which in each video you can get an additional entry to win a game from our top 50s of your choice. So down in the description below is the link to the Google form that you have to fill out to get the entry for this video, depending on when you're watching this, as long as it isn't, September 5th when we're going to pick winners. You could still enter to win. You could go back to the old video and get the entry for that video as well. But for this particular video, the secret word is going to be fantasy. As in, Fantasy Realms was the first game we reviewed on this channel. There you go. Fun fact with Rolls in the Family.
Yeah, and you better watch the first video because you'll hear more options of what you could choose.
It's true. As you watch these videos, each game is a possible game you could choose as your winning game. So check that down in the Google form. It's got more details there. It'll explain what's going on.
Yes, a lot of fine print.
Yes, lots of fine print. That's what we're all about. We also have links to all the games we talk about in this video down below. So if while you're watching, you want to check something out, you can easily check it out there. But let's hop right in with Daniel's number 40, which is clearly way better than all the games he talked about on the last list.
Yep. As with every new video in this series, the previous 10 were trash. The next 10 are less trashy. So here we go. Number 40 goes to a party game discussed in the last video by Ryan. Okay, it's Decrypto. Decrypto, only one spot less from the previous year. And this it's not my highest party game, I don't believe, but might deliver the highest experience a party game can deliver for me in terms of fun when it hits.
Yeah.
Because Decrypto cannot hit sometimes. I have had games that, and when that happens, it's so sad because you know what Decrypto can be. But when it hits, it is a glorious game where each team, you play in teams of two, one team versus the other, and you each have these secret words, and you're trying to come up with a clue for your own team for those words, but the other team is hearing your clue and writing that down and trying to basically intercept, trying to guess what they think, trying to guess basically, based off your clue, which word are you giving a clue for? And you keep going back and forth like that. And as you go on, these clues are accumulating and people are getting more and more information. And so you have to be more and more sneaky. If you have the right group that likes words and coming up with, creative, clever ways to give your team a clue, but to confuse the other team, it is so much fun. And the team element, and it escalates, and you get to the 8th, 9th round, and you're like, how are we going again? How has it not ended? And so, Decrypto is just a joyous game, a joyous party game. Not for everyone, but it really, if you like word games and you've got a group that you think would really like that back and forth intercepting, it is a joyous time. And why it made both of our lists. Number 40.
Yes.
Decrypto.
Yeah, I love as you're giving more clues, you're keeping track of, these are all the clues we've given for this one. This is what the other team knows. And you're like, how can I give a clue that they're not going to associate with this list, but it's still good enough? It's very clever.
And then when the other team gets they're on, maybe they've figured out, we know what this word is. Now, or something like that. Now suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, well, how do I give a clue for my own team but completely throw them off? It's just this really interesting tension with clue giving. So
totally
fun one. Yep. Okay, Ryan.
Good stuff. I am at my number 40. It's a game I haven't played in the last year, but I still know that I like it a lot. And that is The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. And this is a very popular, very fun game that takes the trick taking genre, think like classic games like Hearts or Spades, but makes it cooperative. And we're working as a team to complete these missions where you need to win the trick with this certain card, and I need to win this one, but it needs to be after this other player does this other thing. And it's these very fun challenges. The original game, which is what I have, and I think that's what you have as well, is a campaign game. So you're playing through these missions with the same group. And so that's been fun where I have, different groups that have been doing it. It's also the reason it's not getting to the table is because whenever you need the specific group, and like sometimes that specific group is going to want to play other games.
I hate campaigns.
So it is one of those things where I know for a fact at some point this is going to get replaced in my collection, or at least added with the Mission Deep Sea version that's come out. That's the same concept, but it basically has these randomized missions that you can just play one-offs with a group. Because I think it would make it easier to get to the table. And from what I've heard, there's just a lot of very interesting things they've done with the formula. So I know at some point I'm going to do that, but then there's the part of me that's like, I'm having fun with the existing one. It's like, do I just like stop the campaign? Like it'd be fun to see some of these other ones. Maybe I hold on to both and just pull out this one if I happen to have the group. But it is just such a fun game for people who like those types of card games. And like you want a group of people that are familiar with that, like the thinking that goes into trick taking, like the concept of trying to deplete a suit so that you can play out of suit, or how trump works and how to work with it. If you have a group that's familiar with that, it is such an interesting puzzle of how do we all sit here with such limited communication and accomplish this goal, and when is the right. I get one time I can review a card from my hand and either mark it as this is the highest I have in this suit or the lowest, or it's the only one that I have in this suit. And like that's a very, very interesting decision of when is going to help the team most. But then you almost get to a level of where not giving a clue is actually like giving a clue, because I might be thinking if they had that, or if they were in this situation, I would expect them to be cluing it. And the fact that they're not cluing it tells me that they probably don't. And then it's like, how much are you on the same wavelength with that type of thinking? Very, very fun game. I've had a good time with it so far.
Yeah, that one didn't make my list, mainly because I have had... So you talked about needing to have the right group.
Daniel doesn't know how to pick the right group.
Well, I've had an experience of it where, if you have like someone who doesn't grasp the strategy of it, then it can, they can be the reason your team loses. Yeah. And then it's like, but yeah, no, I agree. It's right group. Very, very fun one. My 39, one of the biggest jumps of my list.
Very nice. How many spots?
It's up there. Jumped 26
spots.
Now that's because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like whenever I'm going to these top game rankings, I just
winging it.
I just go off gut instinct, which can lead to maybe a little more variation than Ryan thinks a little harder.
Yeah.
But I think there's reason behind it. It's a game that also jumped a lot for you.
Interesting.
And you mentioned it, that it jumped a lot for you.
And
that is going to go to Fantasy Realms.
Wow. So the games that I felt were good recently, you probably had similar feelings.
Yes, I had similar feelings. Fantasy Realms, wow. It's so cool how it's so simple. But the entire process of the game, I love the maximizing my hand feeling of okay, I've got this hand, but how can I make it? If I get this card, and then seeing how they all combo together. But it can also put you in some really interesting situations where trying to calculate what is going to lead to the most amount of points, because it's like, okay, let's say like these 3 cards combo together, and if I take this card out, that like makes these 2 cards less powerful. But if I add this card, it's like you're constantly trying to process, like,
you have to weigh if you have time to pivot. It's like, okay,
and time
if I
is
pivot
really
here, I need to get rid of all 3 of these cards.
Yes, exactly. And so it's one that I find for, we have a lot of people we play with who enjoy heavier strategy games, but this is like a filler that those type of people just love.
Yeah.
Because it's got combos and all that sort of stuff. And it just does it masterfully, I think. And it plays pretty quick. You feel like you do a lot. I agree with what you said in the last video of we tried the one part of the expansion. We're like, nope, get that out of here.
Yeah.
But the added cards are wonderful. As soon as I played it in your collection, I knew I had to have it and got it immediately. And so, yeah, Fantasy Realms jumped a lot because I don't know I think it's just we had a lot of really good games of it,
I guess we also reviewed it. I wonder if that played a part in it. Because honestly, like when we review a game, I've found this with games we've reviewed so far on the channel, it does, like when you really kind of deep dive into it, reminds you a lot of times of, man, this game is like really good, or so that probably helps.
That's a good point. So there you go, 39.
Very nice. Well, on the back of you talking about how, my list is a lot more consistent without big jumps, my next entry is actually my biggest climber of my whole list and went up 23 spots.
Wow.
So look at that.
That is.
And honestly, so it was like my 62. I mean, it missed my list last year. And I think it's because this year I got to play multiple times with the right group for it, like really the right group for it. And I think I didn't realize how much this game can like really elevate when you have the right group for it. And that is Las Vegas Royale.
Wow.
It's a simple dice kind of, we use the term beer and pretzels as far as just like it's everybody's kind of bantering and just playing. You're rolling these dice. You have to pick all the ones of a same value to put into one of the casinos, and you're kind of doing area control because first and second in each casino is going to get the payout there. But then there's the twist of if you tie with someone in a casino, you're both eliminated. So you never want to tie. And then the twist that the Royale Edition adds that the lowest 3 casinos have a special ability that whenever you go there, you trigger this special thing, which sometimes, is like a completely separate mini game. The last time I played, it was literally like you got to roll 2 dice and like say you get a 9. Then you can say, is my next roll going to be higher or lower? And so you say, okay, it's going to be lower, and you roll. And if you're right, you move the bonus, and then you can keep deciding to do that, and the bonuses will get better, or you can decide to stop and you get to get whatever you want. So it's like a little gambling mini game within the gambling game you're playing. But then there's other ones, like we had one that when you go there, you get to move this no entry token to a casino, and nobody can place new dice into that casino until somebody else goes to no entry and moves it somewhere else, which added this super interesting layer of like, I'm winning in this casino. Now I'm going to like lock it so that you can't get there. And so I found that you need a group that's the type of people that love just rolling dice and like kind of bantering with like the luckiness of the game, and just like have that energy and conversation around the table of like, oh, I placed my dice into this casino, and it's like, oh, really? You're gonna come here? And like that playful banter in a game like this elevates it so much.
Yeah.
And like I love that the Royale Edition gives you all these different like casino abilities that you can mix in so that it's different every time you play. But my most recent plays in this last year have just been such positive group experiences that felt like they fit the situation so perfectly and still played in 45 minutes that it really, really rocketed it up my list.
Wow. That is quite the jump for that one. Okay. Have I played that one?
You have. I think you've played it a couple times, and honestly, I think they haven't.
There's no way. Because
you're
talking about that, and I can barely even remember
at least
anything
once
of what you're saying.
And I don't think it was the best
maybe we had not a great game.
I think it was with fewer players, and it was it was kind of a weird situation.
That's funny. Yeah, so it is funny when thinking about games because so often we're just we're just evaluating the game, like we're just objectively evaluating the game. But maybe why a game's not fun or not as enjoyable in your collection is because you haven't had the right group for it.
Yeah.
And figuring out that, it's actually not the game, it's the group.
I mean, I know I have games that are very high on my list that I have the perfect group for. And when I think of recommending it to somebody else, I think
I could never.
I'm like, you don't have that group, or you probably don't. And so like I can't like recommend it at the level that I know I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay. Oh wow,
38.
that was a jump.
Yeah, two big
Okay.
jumps there. What do you got at 38?
Whew, something about 39, man. So 38 it goes to a game. It dropped 11 spots. Probably because don't get to play as much.
Fantasy Realms making up some good ground on this game.
Fantasy Realms.
It was what, 40 behind it last
It
year?
used to be a 40 spread. Just shows the randomness of Daniel's list. But a game that I have got the collector's edition of it. And that's going to go to Suburbia. So I really, really enjoy the gameplay of Suburbia. I mean, the whole and the collector's edition is just beautiful. Like, it just looks so nice. And
I still haven't played the collector's one with you.
I know it. You know, a game where you're just placing these tiles and figuring out what, you're drafting tiles and paying money for them and placing them in your city, and just everything, all the tiles like interact with kind of where you place them, and everything kind of, you're ultimately trying to kind of increase your income, but then also increase your reputation, I think, is what attracts population. Which is population's points. The interesting thing with population is as you move up on the score track, every time you cross a red line, your income and reputation drop one.
It's hard to manage a big population.
So you can't just go after getting a ton of population early, because otherwise it's just going to tank you. You kind of want to find that sweet spot of like a lot of income and then kind of, flip it by the end. So I love Suburbia. I will say the collector's edition is good. I love when collector's editions, and I think, Dungeon Fighter, that collector's edition did this a little bit, when they make it really easy to like use all the content in the collector's edition. And I think the hard part with this game is it's a ton of stuff, which is awesome, but you have to like go through and like shuffle, like, I grab from here and shuffle all this stuff. And then it's another barrier to where it's like playing that game's not just a quick pull out, play it. But it actually is like, okay, I gotta do a lot here. And then if it's been a while, I gotta remember what I'm doing to set it up. But the gameplay of Suburbia, man, it is so good. I mean, it's so simple. You're just drafting tiles. I mean, basically, like that's the whole, and then building up this engine.
Well, some of the expansion stuff is very cool, like the Suburbia ink that like has those
borders.
It
adds the borders. It adds it adds just a lot of a lot of new tiles, obviously. So,
Suburbia is a game.
I think that one, I think it might, I could see it continuing to drop just because I really don't get to play it a lot, but I do really like it.
Yeah. It's a game I used to own. That's when both of us played it. It was one of those ones that was like right on a razor's edge as far as staying in my collection or not. Like, even thinking about it now, it's like, man, it's so close. Like, I don't think I want to own it, but I would love to play it again sometime. It is a really fun game.
Yeah.
Cool. My 38 was mentioned by you on the last segment, and that is Roll for the Galaxy. This is a DICE reworking of Race for the Galaxy, which is a game we have played more number of times than any other game. And Roll for the Galaxy, it is a great, clever twist on that formula and really differentiates itself from Race for the Galaxy. This addictive rolling the dice and doing this little puzzle behind which phases do I want to activate, which phases do I think might get activated, how can I kind of optimize that. But then this whole kind of dice management cycle of I'm getting dice onto my tiles to try to build them, but I also need to make sure that I'm like getting credits so that I can put dice back into my cup. Like, it's very easy in this game to like do a bunch of stuff and then get to the end phase and be like, oh, I can buy like one die into my cup. Well, I guess my next turn will be an easy decision. And sometimes you just have to take a turn to like use a bunch of Explorer dice to just get credits. And I love kind of like balancing that strategy of how can I build my engine in a way that's getting me the money I needed to keep it running while still working towards some longer term goals. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I love that it's very quick. Like, it's definitely, and Race of the Galaxy has the same trait of just the the level of strategy and thinking, the types of decisions you're making to the game length is just such a great ratio.
Yeah.
And Roll for the Galaxy, you can even play up to 5 players, and it still plays pretty well, better than I think Race for the Galaxy scales.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So yeah, it's a good time, and it's one that kind of just like keeps hitting the table here and there. And yeah, it's been kind of consistent on my list, I think.
Yeah, it's like one of those that rarely are you like, I want to play Roll for the Galaxy. Like over all these other games, that's the one I'm picking. But it's also one that's like, if you ever ask me, would I enjoy playing a game of Roll for the Galaxy? I'd be like, absolutely. That sounds great.
Usually what happens is I'm with like more of my gamer friends, and it's like, oh, we don't have enough time for this one, so we're trying to figure out what do we have time for. There's less time at the end of a game night, and then I go, oh, actually, like we would have time for Roll for the Galaxy, and that's when everybody's like, oh yeah, that would actually be really
exactly.
You feel like you're getting more than you were expecting to from like the time slot we were looking at.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. My 37 is gonna go to a game that's new. It's new to the list, and a game that might win the award this year of like expectation to reality when playing. Like what I thought the game was gonna be going into it to how much fun I had playing it. And that is going to go to So Clover.
Oh, wow. Is this your highest party game? That's pretty high. That's pretty high.
It is pretty high. Yeah. Gosh, I have no idea. It might be. Yeah. So Clover, man. You know, it's funny. Ryan got 2 party games for Christmas, and one of them is the worst game on our got rid of video. If you want to go check that out, in Masterword. So one failed. The other one absolutely hit. Yeah. I mean, we played it once, like right there, and I was like, this is amazing. Because in So Clover, everyone has this little clover in front of them, and you're given these 4 kind of, I don't know, square pieces of
they're cards
square
that
thing
have words
cards that have words on 4 sides of them, and you randomize them and put them on your clover. And so every side to the clover, all 4 sides have a pairing of 2 words, and everyone simultaneously is writing a word above that's a clue to try to get people to put those 2 words together. So everyone does that on all 4 sides, and you put them all in together, and then we go one at a time, and we'll reveal someone's clover, so you'll see those 4 words, and the cards will be taken off, and an additional card will be added in so that you don't know which there's going to be 5 cards, but only 4 of them were actually used. And so everyone's trying to figure out what orientation and which 4 cards and how do they place. And that process, well, first of all, I love the process of coming up with the clues. Some people, maybe that stresses them out a little bit because it can be hard sometimes, but I love coming up with a connection. And sometimes it's a lot harder than others. But then the process of coming together as a team and being like, okay, what's the connection? And what if they meant this? And
it's such a collaborative thing. Everybody's just
so collaborative and fun. But I was worried. I was like, okay, well, maybe is that not very much fun for the person who wrote the clues? Like, are you just sitting there not at all? It is so enjoyable to sit there and, because you can't talk, but you're listening to them try to think. Ultimately you hope they eventually make the connection you made, but then you'll hear them make these other connections and you'll be like, oh no, I didn't see that, or something like that. It has gone over so well. Everyone, I feel like almost everyone has liked it. It hits a wide range of people really like it. Man, like, I enjoy a good party game, and this is one of my favorites. It really, really enjoy it. So Clover.
Yeah, great, I agree. I'm always trying to get new party games because it's hard to predict which ones will land, and it's good to just get new ones. And this is one of the ones. And actually, you mentioned Stella on the previous list. Like, I've had some good party games hit recently. This missed my list at 55, but that's still, again, party games have a hard time climbing high on my list. But it is pretty good. I agree with everything you said about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. My 37 is also new, and I'm this is one that I could see dropping, but right now I'm kind of high on it from some really good sessions of it and just like a fascination with the dynamic of the game design and kind of how it feeds into the experience. You played it once, but it wasn't the best game, I would say, or the most representative game of it. And this is Raw. So Raw is an old game. 1999, I think it originally came out, but got a really nice new reprint recently and became more widely available. It's getting actually a lot of new buzz. I think a lot of people that maybe got into the hobby in the last 10 years and don't really know that much about this game are like, wow, this game is actually great. Such a fascinating auction game where your bidding tiles are all open information, and you're kind of like pushing your luck with adding tiles to the offer until somebody decides, I want to call Raw and force us to auction, with me being the final vote, which is a very strategic choice. But then like the valuation of those tiles is different based on, what people have, because it's kind of the set collection thing. And then you might have auctions that are started by just drawing a Raw tile. And it just, in the couple games I've had that I would say were like the perfect kind of games of it as far as the players and how the game went, it just was such a great experience. Like everybody was just like, man, this is so interesting and so like fun. It has those exciting moments of kind of pushing, like if you've kind of chosen to risk staying in a round longer. I think you actually did have one example of that where you were the last one in a round and just rattled off a full
that was awesome
thing of tiles that you're able to get. So it has the potential for those moments. Very different from any other games I have, which is another reason it's probably so high, is it just fills something in my collection that I didn't really have, while still being easy to teach, plays in less than an hour usually. So yeah, I'm really happy with the addition to my collection. At least for now, it's making a pretty high debut on my list.
That is high. Yeah, I played one game of it, and I could tell the mechanics are really cool, and it was very interesting. I think you said we maybe didn't have the best game of
we
it.
Drew like a lot more Raw tiles than normal, so which like accelerates the game. We were also playing with 4, at least in my experience so far. It might be best at 3.
Really?
Like, because it's a little tighter as far as understanding what everybody has, and you get more turns.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff.
Well, it's funny that on So Clover you asked, Daniel, is that your highest party game? Because at number 36, we have my highest party game. A game already mentioned by Ryan, which goes to Time's Up.
Okay,
Title
I wonder
Recall.
if this is also your favorite.
Yeah, so Clover, honestly, the fact that it even like was right there at Time's Up says a lot, because I love Time's Up. A game where where you kind of it's charades, but you start off with the first round, you're able to act, and you draw a card, you're able to act and say whatever you want, except for, words in the card or anything like that. But the key thing with Time's Up is the next 2 rounds, you use the same deck of cards. So you're getting familiar with the titles that were in the first round. But the second round, you can't say anything. You can only act.
Second round is one word.
Sorry, second round's one word. Third round, you can only you can't say anything. You can only act. And so the key, really cool thing about it is you're like, okay, it gets harder and harder. But what gets easier is not only are you familiar with the clues, but you latch on to clues that have been given in the previous rounds. And there are so many times where there's a clue given, maybe a mistake. Like someone gives a clue that's like, I've had that happen where like I give a clue and I'm like reading it wrong and it's a mistake and everyone's laughing. But then because that was so memorable, that's the clue that people do for the next 2 rounds, and everyone's just laughing every time it happens because they're remembering. Like you recall these funny moments. Time's Up, title recall. How about that? These funny moments as you move throughout the game. I mean, you have to. There's people who don't like this. Ryan's wife does not like this game. I know other people who don't like this game. If you don't like acting or like getting up, I mean, you gotta
kind of the pressure of like everybody's kind of watching.
Guessing. Yeah. Everyone's watching you as you're guessing on the spot on a timer. Like there's people who don't like that. But man, if you like that, this is just the best version of it. So much fun. Yeah, favorite party game. Time's Up.
Look at that. Both of us endorsing Time's Up Title Recall as our favorite party game.
Yeah, almost was So Clover.
Yeah, that's true. My 36 is up quite a bit, 10 spots, in fact. And that is largely, and it's a game I've played a ton. We both played a ton. And it is largely attributed to acquiring the new and improved second edition collector's set, and that is Dungeon Fighter. Now, probably more than any games we're going to mention here, like we're probably bigger proponents of Dungeon Fighter over, like since it originally came out, than just about anybody. It's not like that popular.
Why
of
aren't
a
they
game.
paying us? Sponsor?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. I'll get in touch with Horrible Guild. I think they are the publishers.
Yeah.
But man, have we had so many great experiences, mostly with the first edition, but now the second edition, so well done. All the changes they made to the formula, I'm like totally behind because it was such a well funded Kickstarter. It hit all these stretch goals and got lots of fun add-ons, which is great in a game like that more types of shots and obstacles and cards just really elevates the variety. Such a pure fun, like we've talked about how it's like, I don't call this my favorite party game, right? Because I don't consider it a party game.
Yeah.
But it almost is. Like in situations where you
yeah.
pull it out with a big group and you're bouncing dice off the table to try to make it on a target to do this dungeon crawler, and everybody's got their own little characters, and it's got like enough meat and interest with some of that to make it a little bit more than just this light, bouncing dice game. But then the core is so silly and fun. Really have had so many great experiences with it. It's really held on my list. It's been in my top 50 since the game came out over 10 years ago. So yeah, and absolutely love the new collector's edition. It's awesome. The few times we've gotten to the table, it's like, man,
yeah,
this is just really good.
Agree. So my 35 is a game that I say it's 35, but we'll see where it lands going forward. I anticipate maybe a continuing drop, maybe even leaving the collection, but still a game that I'm like, this is a really, I have fun every time I play it. And that's going to go to Scythe. So
okay,
I haven't been able to play Scythe as much as I've wanted to. And that's partially why it hasn't left my collection, is I feel like I need to, I'm having fun, but it's not getting chosen a lot. And I think it kind of falls into a weird niche of kind of a Euro game, kind of, fighting
hybrid style.
It's a hybrid, which sometimes makes it hard because whose favorite game is this? I did get a chance last year to play it with a group of 4 others who I think they play Scythe every week or something. So which I just got whooped. But it was really, really fun. I mean, I just love kind of the whole player board in front of you, how you're kind of constantly upgrading things, moving things, everything on kind of I forget if it's the top or the bottom row. One thing, when you move it to the top, it not only upgrades the top, but it reveals something on the bottom. So you're kind of almost double upgrading. The actions are simple. You only have, I think it's 4 actions that you can choose from. Which I always like in games when it's I almost wonder if that's a Stonemaier Games kind of thing, because I was thinking about Wingspan 2 is kind of like that, where it's the actions, you have 3 or 4 choices, but then the strategy is using those to your best ability. It's so cool. It looks beautiful. I have a lot of fun whenever playing it. I love the exploration cards. I think those are so cool. But yeah, it dropped 12 spots, and I think it's in a tough niche. My wife doesn't love it, and so it's okay, who am I gonna play this with? And that's, you can really like a game, but if you just don't have the right group for it, it's okay, well, we'll see. So that one, it's 35, but we'll see where it lands. But it's still, I know people love it in the board game.
I mean, there are a lot of people that Scythe is their favorite game.
And I can see it's a really, really cool game. Really cool blend of
totally
all that.
Very nice. My 35 is a bona fide classic. This has been around in our collections since like almost the beginning. For a lot of people, this is a game that they feel like they've moved on from. They're
Oh my
doing
gosh.
other games, but
Who are those people?
I'm here to tell you that this still fills a niche and gives me something that I really enjoy and love
Tell 'em,
still
Ryan.
playing, even after 140 plus plays, and
That's
is
right.
Ticket to Ride. You know, Ticket to Ride, just the core formula of this tension between when do I collect cards versus claim a route versus get more destinations. Every one of those is kind of pushing my luck in different ways of if I just collect cards, people are going to start getting things, taking things on the map and might constrain me. If I wait to take destinations, I might not know like how I could have optimized connecting some of these things. But if I play down routes, then I might not be optimizing like the cards that might be available to me or knowing which routes. And it just, for me, it's a comfort food thing. I've used that word before, or that phrase, talking about this game because we've played it so much. It's so familiar that you just get into this Ticket to Ride rhythm. And I just love it. I mean, it plays in usually 30 to 45 minutes. I love kind of just the thrill of trying to go for it. It's got that element that you as the player can kind of define how hard you want to push.
How risky you want to be.
Yeah. And so I like, as a more experienced player, being able to like, you know, kind of shoot for this like ambitious plan and see if I can pull it off. I love playing some of the different maps that we have for it. It keeps it kind of fresh. Yeah, great stuff. I mean, it has really held on my list for a long time, despite not getting to play it as much recently, but it's gone anywhere from my number 10 way back in the day, all the way to 35 and anywhere in between, but pretty consistent. It's just, I feel like I have to stand up for Ticket to Ride because if not me, who will?
Yeah, that's true. They haven't sold enough copies, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. They're struggling over there at Days of Wonder. Ticket to Ride. Yes, it's a very popular game, and it's similar to Seven Wonders that you talked about. That sometimes when games get into this upper echelon of success, it kind of makes them harder to get to the table because a lot of people aren't as excited to play them.
Yeah, well, it's too bad because I mean, almost no one's talking about Ticket to Ride. You know, and
when people look at my big game shelf, like most of them aren't like, "Ooh, Ticket to Ride, that's the one I want to pull off." Like a lot of people want to try new games or.
Yeah, I feel like it gets played either it's like the end of or kind of you're winding down, but you have enough time to play something a little substantial. It's like, you know, like you said, comfort food. Like maybe I'm a little tired. We've played some heavier games. It's like, let's just play some Ticket to Ride, you know, just enjoyable stuff. Awesome. Okay, we're going to go to my 34, which is new to the list. And I'll be honest, it's been a little while since I've played it. So Ryan, step in and help me with just the specificity of the rules.
I try to help like keep the integrity of our channel by calling out Daniel's rules mistake.
Please know Ryan is the official guy here, and I'm just here for the ride. My 34 is a game Ryan owns, and I've played it 2 or 3 times now. It's gonna go to Dune Imperium. Really, I'm really interested to see where this one moves going forward.
Yeah.
And if I get the chance to, it's on the like considering to own list for me. But it's like you're playing and you're like, this is just really kind of interesting how this all kind of comes together. You know, I things that I remember, you know, really enjoying. I think just how they have the conflicts every round, and so you're and the rewards for them are like, especially, and they escalate as the game goes on, right? Like they escalate, a little bit,
and get a lot.
And so that part is like kind of a fun, like every round and it's like, do I want to go all in on it like this round, or do I?
And going in on it dictates what spaces you go to, because only certain spaces let you. So it's like, how can I go after the conflict while still doing things that I want to do for the rest of my strategy?
Exactly. And so it's also got, you know, your kind of a deck builder element to it of getting cards. The expansion totally improved the whatever corner of the board that, you know, I don't know if that area has a name, but
Yeah, kind of that green section, and then it adds the whole technology.
Is it technologies,
piece.
right?
Yeah.
And the technologies are so much fun. I mean, do you consider the technology edition like an essential upgrade for it?
I mean,
or would you
if you like Dune Imperium, like if you know that,
like,
absolutely buy the expansion.
absolutely.
It's to the point where depending on the group, I might even teach new players with that if I think it's someone who like, has played games of this weight. I'm like, you can definitely handle this and you'll probably enjoy the game even more having this piece in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I want to play it more because I feel like I've just scratched the surface. You've had the opportunity to play it more than I have. But the few times I've played it, it's like, oh boy, this is a really, really fun one. And it brings in a lot of different mechanics that I enjoy in games and brings it all together. And I'm not even a Dune fan. I know nothing about Dune, so you don't need to love Dune to play as one. But number 34, Dune Imperium.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested as you have the opportunity to play it a few more times because it feels like a game that you should like quite a bit from my experience with it.
I enjoyed it the first few.
Very, very intrigued to see. My number 34 is new to the list, new to my collection in the last year, and it is the only game I really have right now that's an active campaign game. We've talked a little bit of how we've cooled so much on campaigns because it's hard to get to the table, and we like getting a lot of different games to the table. But this is one I felt I had the right group for. I felt like it kind of was what I was looking for from a campaign game, and that is Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth.
Ooh.
Now, this is based on the Mansions of Madness 2nd edition system of kind of Fantasy Flight's app-based scenario games, where Lord of the Rings, though, is actually over a campaign. And I have to say, with this type of game that has a lot of that upkeep, having the app do a lot of it is really amazing. Like it remembers, everything about our party and there when we go load our file, it handles generating the maps and telling us what we need. And I mean, it tracks all the enemy health and everything. It's just really, really nice. And that's one thing I really appreciate about this game is it's so easy to kind of just set up and get playing quickly. Like we can pull it out of the box and within 5 to 10 minutes be like, playing the scenario.
So it is not Gloomhaven.
So it's not Gloomhaven. And there's a little bit more emphasis on like the story and kind of the exploration piece, which I found to be fun, especially because I like the Lord of the Rings theme a lot. But there's still interesting decisions with this whole deck building thing and the way you have to pick which cards you prepare versus using them as successes in your deck. And honestly, probably my favorite thing about it across the whole game is the upgrade system from game to game. How when you play as a class in this game, you gain experience in that class. And then in between scenarios, you can buy cards from that class's deck to permanently be in your deck, but you're never required to stick with a class. So like I was starting out doing some stuff with the Meddler class and I was like getting Meddler experience and I was getting some of these cool cards. But then there was a scenario where it's like, oh, we're going to be doing more fighting. I'm going to play the Hunter class and now I'm getting some Hunter experience. So I've been kind of like subclassing between some Hunter upgrades and some Meddler upgrades. And with so many different classes in the game, like I could totally see how playing another campaign, it would be so fun to pick a different character I haven't played and just go after some other classes that I've never really explored before. Really just fun, satisfying system. Our group has had a lot of fun with it so far. It is a hard one to rank. I mean, we're like, 8 games into the campaign of like 14. So I don't know how I'll feel about it once I'm done with the campaign. Once, will I want to play another campaign as a game that sticks around in my collection as one that I think I would play future campaigns? Right now, I feel like it probably is. I could see it being a lot of fun with kids someday, or just if I get a group. The barrier is just a little bit lower than other campaign games. But yeah, a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to find a good deal on it that came with the first big expansion, because the way it works, it pulls in all that content, even if you're playing like the original campaign. So that's been really good for kind of the variety. But yeah, had a lot of fun with it so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. My 33. I thought it was a new game. It actually wasn't. I dropped 11 spots. Game you own. Ryan and I are big Uwe Rosenberg fans, as I imagine you'll find out in the future. But a game that was newer from him that Ryan got to play a few times and definitely on my radar going forward, and that is Hallertau. You know, we again are big fans of a lot of his games. I think the thing that compared to the other games we've played of his that kind of stood out about this one that I really loved was the ebb and flow of the market in the game, you know. So you're going out and you're taking these actions, but it's this dynamic market where you know, when the more people go to a place, it suddenly becomes less
it's more expensive to go there. You have to use more workers.
Right. It's more expensive. And so you're in this like tension of trying to see, well, where's good value and where, I could go here and all of that. And so that core element to the game I thought was made it felt just different, and it was like, oh, that's really fun. And I mean, the whole it's kind of a very just interesting thing. The whole you know, moving, you're trying to kind of move things along, but you need like different all these different resources and stuff. Very interesting worker placement game, but really enjoyed it, and one that felt different enough, unique enough, and also I think it could play pretty well at 2 players, I would imagine. And so for my wife and I think that is one that we've definitely got on our radar. And yeah, really enjoyed. So there you go, 33 Hallertau.
I totally agree. The like worker placement dynamic in that market feels very fresh compared to other games.
It does feel fresh.
Because like there's this weird thing of like, okay, I think I want to go to that spot. And normally in a worker placement game, somebody goes there and you're blocked and now you go do something else. But now I'm not necessarily blocked. It's just a little bit more expensive. You know, I would have gone there with 2 workers. Am I willing to go there with 3 workers?
Yeah, do I constantly is putting you in those questions.
Yeah, and so I really like the dynamic of that. Yes, very fun one. My 33, I don't think I expected to be this high, but every time I play it, I just like what's going on, the core system and the way the variability changes it up every game. I think this is my highest flip or roll and write on my list.
Oh, wow.
And that is Cartographers.
Wow.
Now, I enjoy games that are kind of the polyomino puzzle things together type games. It's just good fun to puzzle things together.
Mm-hmm.
Cartographers turns that into kind of a flip and write where you're actually drawing the shapes and assigning them different types of terrain. But the fact that it's a flip and write, so everybody's playing simultaneously, you reveal something and where do I want to put this on my thing and rotate it to go after things. And then every game, you've got the 4 unique objectives as far as what you're trying to do on your map and the timing of when they're going to go off. It's like, okay, in this first round, we're going to score A and B, but I can be working towards, you know, the D objective, knowing that it's coming. And so you got to kind of decide, like, how are you approaching when to go after the different goals? Mm-hmm. And then this is something I really love in this style of game, kind of the flip and write, is that constraint as the game goes on. I talked about that a little bit with Welcome to the Moon. I love that. Like getting to the end where with each flip, it's like, oh man, am I going to be able to use it well? And Cartographers, you know, has that in spades because you really start filling up your map and you are getting these new shapes and how can I use them? And the tension of I don't know exactly when the round's going to end and when it's not. I've just had so much fun with it. I have the collector's edition from the Kickstarter, so I've got a bunch of different map types that have been fun to try. I liked the lava map that you shuffle in these lava cards into the deck and you might have to draw lava shapes flowing out from the volcano in addition. And it was just like a little twist, but it was very fun, like how it changed the game.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I've had a lot of fun with it. It feels kind of like one of those evergreen games in my collection. It's so flexible, plays well with 2 players, plays well with 12 players. And like that really, if I was starting a collection from scratch, it honestly would be one of the first games I'd look at just because it's so flexible to get that experience. So good stuff, Cartographers.
I honestly just haven't played that one enough to have a definitive opinion on it. That's really the only thing. But I know I liked it the maybe once or twice I've played it.
I've played it 25 times. So
that's a lot of times,
quite
right?
a bit, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we are getting to my 32 here, a new game that, you know, sometimes when you're ranking games, there's an inherent bias to like recency, and
I
maybe
always
you had a
feel
really-
bad when I like rank a new one really high and then the next year it's just off the list because I got rid of it.
Yeah, right. But I actually think this is well deserved. We played it recently. I played it again with my wife even more recently, and oh man, it's just so good. And that goes to Ultimate Railroads, or Russian Railroads. I have the Ultimate Railroads kind of whole collectors. I don't know, is it a collector's edition? It's just an accumulation of man, we love tight worker placement, and this does that, and it does it in such a fun and unique way where you've got these like 3 railroad lines that you're trying to kind of move the tracks and along, and you can upgrade the tracks to get you more points, but each railroad line is a very different kind of route. Like one is super long and you can put ×2s and you're just going for like a lot of points, whereas like another one has a lot more of where when you get to a certain spot you unlock an idea, which the idea cards are like incredibly powerful. I mean, like that's the thing in this game, is this game gives you that feeling of, oh, and I hit this, and oh my gosh, I can take one of these, and you're just like, oh my goodness. And when you combine an incredible amount of power and exciting things you unlock with tight worker placement, I think that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because it's like tense, but then you're also just having these awesome combos. And so we got to play a game together of it this last month. That was super fun. My wife and I played another game of it, and we actually played with the German railroads. Oh my gosh, that was, I wasn't sure, are these modules going to feel like, they're just weird little things? No, so cool. I mean, the German module, first of all, a whole new board, so it's completely different, the things there. But then like some of the railroads have like missing like rectangles on them, and there's a whole market where you can, when you get to the rectangle, you grab any one of the like things to fill in the railroad, and they each have different like rewards for when you get a spot. So based off your strategy, you can go for different ones. That was so cool. And there's like 3 more modules in there that were yet to try. Wow. This one really blew me away by how much I'm enjoying it so far. I think as we play it more, it could go even higher. It's a really, really nice, tight worker placement. Play super fast. Just does not overstay its welcome. Really, really enjoy that. Ultimate Railroads.
Yeah, I was so glad I got the chance to play it. It wasn't eligible for this list with me only having played it once. I don't feel like I have enough
by the official
opinion
rules
on it. Yeah, the official rules. But it's still on my like games I would consider. I definitely want to play it again and try one of those other maps. It definitely is good stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying that for every game now. I got to remember, like, we're in with the top 50 games. They're all stuff I think is good. So
yeah,
gotta come with more adjectives here. My 32 is probably the game on the list that Daniel's gonna think is too low of any game I have. Only because you
depends what it is.
Only because you'll probably understand why for me, but you definitely esteem it quite a bit higher. Spoilers. This is Twilight Imperium 4th edition. And this is a hard one to rank. Isn't that what you thought?
No.
Twilight Imperium is a game that's a little hard to rank because I haven't played it in like 4 years. So that definitely makes it really hard to like really think about how I feel about it. But it's kind of the ultimate if you want an epic full day experience with a group where you're all building up your space empires and then having this layer of politics and going around the map trying to opportunistically score points for objectives. And, there is combat, but it isn't a combat focused game. It's like, I love that it's opportunistic. It's like, war is expensive. Like, if I choose to fight with somebody, it's going to weaken me in ways. And a lot of times that's not worth it. So it's more of this like shifting board state of where are the right opportunities for me to go after points. I have a really good time with it. Honestly, it hurts it a little bit in my rankings that it's so long because I don't always want to spend a whole day dedicated to a single game like that when I could also schedule a game day where I get to play 4 still fairly big games that I really enjoy. But it still holds a place in my collection because no other game does quite what it does. And when I do want to schedule that day, there's a certain energy around scheduling a Twilight Imperium day, as you know, because you have been scheduling them
I have
more recently
in the last
than
year.
me. I'm sure we'll talk about it more a little bit later, but Twilight Imperium still holds on my list at number 32.
I don't know, Ryan. Might have missed the list. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. You never know. Usually what happens when we do these is we get to a certain point where I'm like, dang, I'm really surprised I haven't seen this one yet. And finally we realize Daniel didn't rank it. He accidentally left it off.
Forgot it off.
So
I
we'll
know that might happen. So, okay. Finally, we're getting to 31 here. Game I do not own. You've had it for a long time. Drop 10 spots. So I haven't really played it in, a while, but I have so many memories of this game, and the memory, so maybe sometimes the memories are even better than what it actually was.
Yeah.
But I know we have so many positive experiences of this, and that goes to Cosmic Encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we've played so much Cosmic Encounter, and this is a game where, usually we're playing with around 4 or 5 people, but it's kind of this space combat where your goal, each person has their 5 planets in front of them with ships, and you win the game if you can get onto, is it 5
foreign colonies?
5 foreign colonies. And so there's definitely a lot of diplomat element to it of like, I'm gonna join you and we're both gonna get on here. Oh, we'll make a negotiation here. But where the game just absolutely shines, is amazing, is the unique aliens that it has, because this game is the epitome of, I'm gonna give you something that breaks the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna give you an alien that is just like, what? You can do that?
Which rule do you get to break?
Which rule do you get to break? And they're all super powerful. And so everyone gets, I think we usually pick from maybe you get dealt 2 and we pick 1 or whatever. Yeah. But so then everyone reveals, and it's like, for this game, okay, how does all those unique aliens affect the negotiating and the interplay of all of us? The highs of Cosmic are incredible. You can have games where it's like, okay, we just each negotiated 4 times to get there. And I don't know. There's games where it's like, oh, that kind of fell flat. But we have so many. I mean, we've played it so much over the years. I feel you probably feel like you've almost exhausted Cosmic in terms of all it can offer, because you've played a lot of it, even more than me. And
I totally agree with you that it's a hard one to rank, because there are some of those memories are some of the highest gaming moments I've had. And yet, spoiler, Cosmic just missed my list at 52.
Oh my god.
And it's been on that trend recently of dropping, and that was a 22 spot drop. And the only
that is criminal.
It's hard, because the reality is the plays I've had of it in recent years have almost all fallen more flat.
Really?
And with trying to introduce new people to it. And then even the highs of the game are lower than they used to be, just because I've played it so much. Like, I've seen so much of what the game can offer that, it doesn't surprise me as much as it once did. That said,
you've played it a lot more than me.
I have.
You've played it a lot more
than me. I've played it
so
187
oh my gosh.
So there's a point where, and it's a game, fair. I could see it getting some new life someday, like if my kids, grew up and got it, because it is fun to introduce people to. But I can't deny the fact that I've had games of it recently where I'm kind of left wishing we had picked a different game.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not a great feeling.
But I mean, 187 plays. I mean, I think you can say you got your money's worth for that. So
totally. And I cannot deny that. Like, when I was in college and I had the group for this, and you were pulled into that group often at times. I mean, that was like peak Cosmic Encounter. We would play.
That's all we would play
3 times in a
It's all we would play. So yeah, it's a very, very just unique, fun game. Cosmic Encounter.
There you go.
Bring us home.
My 31 is another one of the biggest boxes in my collection. I just talked about Twilight Imperium.
Telestrations?
Yeah, no. Cut that one down.
The 12
this is
pack?
Mechs versus Minions. And this is one that the big box and presentation kind of almost falsely advertises the type of game you're getting, because it is not a super complex game. It's actually a pretty accessible, cooperative play a scenario in an hour or less type of game, and it is just such a pure fun factor. And yes, the presentation like elevates it, right? These amazing miniatures and just everything about the game is kind of big and looks exciting. But the core mechanisms of getting to every turn draft these cards that you're slotting into your programming row, that now your mech is going to execute these, and you're, killing these little minions right and left and trying to coordinate with your teammates to cover things or work on this objective. So pure fun, and has this nice escalation that as you continue to draft cards, you slot them over each other to get the more powerful versions of it. We've talked about how we love how damage is handled in this game. It's not just like, oh, here's how much damage I've taken. Every time you're damaged, you have to draw a malfunction card that might like literally have you malfunctioning as part of your programming row, that every time when I get to this point, I like turn right. And so you're like, oh, I think I can use that. And like always like, just turn right. I'm not even going to repair it. But you get other ones. I mean, it's almost fun to get hurt in the game.
It's
funny, so you have laugh out loud moments with just what's happening with the team. It's one that I like need to remind myself is an option when I'm looking for that, because when I have like that group and that time slot, I'm looking at certain places on my shelf. My eye doesn't gravitate to the giant box that's up there.
Yeah.
But I forget that is a game you can totally pull out with new people, and it's likely going to go over really well. I haven't even played all the scenarios in it because we've replayed so many of them, despite playing it 37 times at this point. I haven't played all 10 scenarios.
Come on, Ryan. Play them all.
Which is a good evidence that the game is fun to replay the scenarios. So great stuff. Yeah, I don't know how easy it is to get these days. I don't know if Riot Games, it's made by the people that make League of Legends, the very successful video game. But yeah, very glad I have it.
Yeah, it's a great design. Just, presentation aside, I mean, the presentation is just out of this world.
Yeah.
But the just core element is such a streamlined, good game. That's an awesome pick.
There you go. Mechs vs. Minions is my 31.
Well, if you want to check out any of these games that we mentioned in this video, 20 good games, we've got them linked down below. You can check them out for yourself. Also, if you want to enter into our contest we are having, we will announce in the final video of this series, 10 through 1. Just drop down in the Google form, click on that, and drop the secret word fantasy. Drop the word fantasy, and that'll get you another entry into that contest. And we've got a couple videos here that you can check out for yourself, including, once we've got it released, our next top games in 30 through 21. We'll see you in that one.